Hi, how are you all doing? I'm Beverly. If you don't know me already, I'm the owner of Ritam of Your Life and Ocean Breath Yoga. And I wanted to start the new year off right for myself, for everyone. And I had recorded a video that I was going to post today, this first day of 2025. And I had a thought later in the day that has been clarifying itself. And I decided that this was going to be the first posting that I would do. So here I am late in the evening, um, putting it out when it's needed rather than at the beginning of the first way it's dictated that marketing should happen. I, again, for anyone who knows me, I'm not really good at doing that because I don't believe in doing things the way everybody else expects them to be done, which is a good lead in to what the thought was that I had. I was thinking about why it is I do what I do, holistic wellness, from a foundation of yoga, of pushing different boundaries, of not wanting to see the world the way everybody would prefer it to be seen, the easy way. I struggled for so much of my life trying to fit in to a way of being that the world dictated was right and proper, that would allow me to be part of something, of community, of family, of many things. And it was incredibly uncomfortable, but not in a really good way. It was always me trying to jam myself in some kind of form, call it a box, call it what you will, but it was pushing myself into that space. And anytime it got too tight, I'm lucky enough that there was some piece of me that just would say no. And no matter how much I desired the comfort of just belonging to something, of finally fitting in, of not feeling like an outlier, an outcast sometimes, that I would give into that discomfort and say, okay, no. And I would step into the most uncomfortable things, the things that pushed at my limits of being, the things that made me feel sometimes ill to my stomach, that scared the crap out of me. And that had me giving up jobs, giving up ways of being, not completing degrees in school because I simply should get them. I knew they weren't interesting to me. It pushed me to travel to places I'd never been, to do physical things that as a child I tried to avoid because I was so uncomfortable with not knowing if I could do something perfectly. And it's done me very well in many ways. There are times when it really didn't work out. But if I hadn't done those things, I would still be in other places doing things that maybe didn't serve me. So those moments that didn't work out kept leading me forward until I found the thing and the way of being that served me. Doesn't mean it stops. It means I still now have to push forward. Once I get too comfortable within this, I need to push again at those edges. I've pushed that in my physicality. I've pushed that in my health. Being unhealthy can be comfortable when you don't know what the other side is. Eating foods that can be so thrive inducing can be uncomfortable when you've convinced yourself that they are things that you never want to eat, even if you've never tried them. Trying to climb some mountain, jump off a bridge with a bungee cord attached to your ankles is bloody uncomfortable. But the change it evokes is indescribable. And in this past couple of years, I realized I got into a state of cocooning comfort again. My sister, my oldest sister, Found out she had cancer. I went to help her. It ended up being a journey I could not have experienced. And yes, there was discomfort in it in so many ways, learning things that I had no desire to learn. But when it was all completed, when things finally wound down enough that I could slow, I just had enough of the discomfort for a while. And I realized I started closing in. I'm not going to call it a bad thing. I think sometimes the cocoons are what we need. That cocoon is what gives us the space to disintegrate ourselves so that we can give birth to our next way of being, break free, next butterfly state of being. And I feel that right now, this beginning of 2025, I feel that. And so I think what changed for me today is I realize what I want 2025 to be for myself, for anyone that I'm working with, is the year of discomfort, the year of looking into and pushing at the edges of discomfort. And I'll give you the yin version of that. Wonderful teachers that I had, Paul Grilly and Bernie Clark, the people who wrote the book on yin, are always good reminders that there's a difference between pain and discomfort. Pain, we're forcing ourselves into things that aren't necessary, into things that might break us. But discomfort is that achiness, that push, that edge of something that's asking you to just hang out and wait for the change to come, to not run away from it, to not force it. It's the hanging out in that place that's unexpected and not been experienced before that allows a change to happen. And you can find this in many different forms, many different ways, but that is the essence of where I think I want to go this year. I have things that I've been wanting to do, a book that I've been trying to write. I've got things I want to teach and a voice I want to share harder because I think what I have to share is important. And therein's one of my edges of discomfort. I know what I want to share matters, but the discomfort is thinking that I'm important enough to share that. This has nothing to do with importance. It has to do with me meeting my purpose of being. What I have to share isn't for everybody, and not everybody needs to hear it. But some of you have been waiting for what I have because I had to learn it so that you can learn it, so that you can share it forward. So I'm looking for people who want to jump on board with me this year, who are getting too comfortable in pain and illness, getting too comfortable in thinking that they don't deserve at this point in life to actually be and who they wanted to be, to thrive in a way that they thought they should be able to thrive, who believe that everybody else comes first. I want to go on a journey with you. I want to show you the pathways I've opened up that say that maybe this can be different. And then I want you to take the lead for your life, to learn everything you can, to let me bushwhack where is needed, to let me put the pointers down and then see if that pathway serves you. I want people who are willing to get uncomfortable with asking for support and get even more uncomfortable with saying, I'm important enough to also share who I am. Are you done being in that cocoon? Whatever your cocoon is. I don't know what it is. I know what mine are, but what's yours? And if you are done with that, let's have a conversation. Let's work together to change something. I'm going to work on me. I will offer the things that I've learned, these important beautiful guideposts that I have created for myself on this journey. And then you are going to learn how to trust yourself so that you can guide others, however that might show up. So, step one, say yes to you. That's the biggest uncomfortable thing to do, and actually mean it, not because it's New Year's, not because got to make this resolution. Screw those. They say there's something wrong with you. There's nothing wrong. You're just at a crossroads right now. So you want to say yes. And after you hear this, whatever day you hear this, whatever moment you hear this, you're going to pause for a moment. Not make any big decision. You're just going to take a deep breath. Big exhale. And you're going to check in with how that feels. And then you might take another and a few more, because sometimes jumping off that bungee bridge takes a lot of breaths and a lot of trust that the cord isn't going to slide off your feet. Trust me, I've been there. And the fun part is it doesn't fall off. And when you realize you've survived doing that jump, you get to have a lot of fun as you bounce and return again. So that's step one. We'll talk about step two later. Commit to this, commit to you, and whoever it is that says yes, connect with me and we'll figure out your path forward. Welcome to the year of discomfort. I can only imagine what it's going to do for me, because I've had a lot of these moments, and man, they're always life-changing. So bring it on. Thanks for listening. And for any of you who aren't ready, that's fine. Your moment comes when you're ready. Take care.